I have my magazine template ready. I want to now start to add an image for my main cover image. So I'm going to go to Google and do the usual thing, check my settings are correct for my search tools, click large, and I've actually typed in something specific for my search. I came across this illustrator called Fiona Fernandez, a Melbourne artist, and I thought I might use one of her images for my cover image. So I click on the image, right click, save image as, make sure I save it to my digital design folder in the OneDrive, give it an appropriate title that I'll remember, and press save. You can see it's saved there now. So I go to Photoshop and I'm going to do the same thing that we've done before, file open, and click on the image that I want to import in my magazine. Now you can see at the moment my magazine template has disappeared, but just like on the internet, we have tabs in Photoshop, so you can click on the different tabs so you can open multiple files at the same time. Before I copy this across, because my magazine is a particular resolution, 300 dpi, I need to make sure this image is 300 dpi, so it copies across with a similar resolution. So go image, image size. The actual dimensions doesn't matter because we can adjust the scale of the image, but the resolution is important. So 300 pixels per centimeter. And now I'll just go Control 0 to be able to see my image. And now I can actually copy. I just want to actually outline the female figure. Now, you guys have experimented with a few of these selection tools. So we've got the magic wand tool that selects similar tones or sections. Now, if I just hold shift and click, that's going to take quite a long time. So I'm not going to choose that option. Another option that I might choose is the quick selection tool. And again, you just click and drag, but because there's a lot of line work in this image, it's probably not a great tool. You can see it's taking a little while to load the selection. So I'm going to Control D, deselect that as well. Another one that we've used is the polygon lasso tool, where you basically click, do a quick selection around the outside of something. Now that could work for this one actually. But because this draws in straight lines and essentially her outline is all curved because it's a hairline, I'm going to choose a different selection tool. So because I want to deselect what I've done, I need to complete the shape first. So I just need to find where I started that. Just trying to find the beginning of it. Here we go. So that little circle's come up next to the cursor. I'm just going to press Control D now. So the selection tool I'm going to use is actually underneath the polygon lasso tool. I'm going to choose the magnetic lasso tool. And what that does, it, like a magnet, it hooks onto a line or a shape, the outline of it. So the main thing is you move your cursor slowly. So just take note. I'm going to click to anchor my first selection. And you can see that this selection tool is automatically, you can see the little nodes or the little dots actually hooking on to the outline of this. Now this is a really nice way of selecting an unusual shape like this. I'm actually going to click and anchor the section here because I want to go around this little bit of hair. So you can click and actually anchor or encourage the selection to go to a particular point, like a sticking out piece of hair that I had. The main thing is when you're using this tool is that you move slowly. If you move too quick, it will lose its place on the edge of a shape and you won't end up selecting the correct outline. But of course, you can use the eraser tool to actually take off bits you don't want to select later. That's also possible once you paste it onto a new layer. So obviously I'm going around the edge of the image now. I'm not too fussed about the edge because I might end up chopping that off. So again, just like the lasso tool, waiting for that little circle to pop up and click, completing the shape. It's just loading now, and I'll see those running ant lines, knowing that all that area is now selected. Now I'm going to press Control C. Now I can go to my magazine template, Control V. And you can see that's come up in my layer window here. I'm going to name that straight away, cover image. And I'm going to click on the move tool just to think about where I want to put it, because obviously I've got to think about my masthead, my cover lines, skyline banner or screamer, barcode, all that kind of stuff I need to put in this. So at the moment this image is a little bit too big. So I might actually edit that. So if you go to edit, transform, you can change scale, rotate, you can even distort it and make it completely different, and you can rotate or flip, make it kind of opposite, but I'm going to go scale. Make sure you hold down shift, otherwise it changes the proportion of the image. Now I'm going to bring it down to about there and click the tick to confirm the edit. Then, checking I'm on the move tool, I'm going to think about, placement. So I'm going to position her about here. That way I've got enough room for the masthead up top, and I've got some room for cover lines, maybe a little bit more across here. Now I'm finding the edge here a little bit problematic. So I'm actually going to zoom in, scroll down, and I might actually use the eraser tool just to soften these edges here. So clicking on the eraser, checking I'm on the appropriate layer, which I am, and I might make the eraser size a little bit smaller. That's good. And at the moment the hardness is 0, so it's very soft, which is fine, and the opacity is 50%, which is also fine because I want to kind of blend in. So I really want to raise this particular section out. In fact, I can make it not opaque at all and just really erase. So there's no opacity, there's, no transparency going on. Just around the edges. And now I'm going to bring the opacity down just to do some blending, just to make it kind of soften the edges. And depending on what I use on my background, I might actually work into that a little bit more as well. Okay, Control 0 just to get a quick screen. Okay, I might actually work into that again, but essentially that's how you paste an image in, and you can potentially fix up the edges using the eraser tool.